You know, every once in a while, some truly amazing survival stories happen. Stuff that you would not believe if not documented. You'll be like, there is no way a person can survive that. And yet, they did. And such was the case with one Vesna Vulovic. Apologies in advance if I'm not pronouncing the name quite correctly. Whoops. Now, the story of Vesna starts in 1972, when she was actually only a 22-year-old flight attendant, and she got signed to a flight from Stockholm to Belgrade. Here's the interesting thing. It wasn't even supposed to be her. They got the wrong Vesna. But she was like, hey, I've never been there before. That would be cool. Get to travel and explore a little bit. And there you have it. Now, as fate would have it, less than an hour into the flight, the plane explodes and falls from 33,000 feet. Now, you would think, hey, that's it. Game over. Well, you'd be right. For everybody on the plane except for Vesna. Now, when the plane fell, it fell in a village in what would now be the Czech Republic. And luckily for Vesna, she was found by a man named Bruno, who just so happened to be a World War II medic. He was not expecting to find any survivors in a plane crash. He found one. Now, out of the 28 passengers and crew that were on the plane, she was the only survivor. And she was not doing very well. She broke both her legs, broke 3 vertebrae, broke a bunch of ribs, and fractured her skull. She was in a coma in a hospital for several days, and get this, she actually suffered from amnesia. She did not remember anything about the plane crash. In fact, when she woke up in the hospital, she just casually asked for a cigarette. A cigarette. Now, her doctors were not expecting her to make a recovery. They thought she would just be paralyzed. She was able to walk again in only 10 months. And get this, she credited that to a childhood diet of spinach, fish oil, and chocolate. Not sure how that helped, but she thinks it did, so... Now, the reason behind the explosion is a little disputed. Some say it was like a Croatian nationalist group who planted a bomb, and some say it was actually a misfire by the Czech Air Force. Now, it was never proven one way or another, so take that with a grain of salt. But what was the reason Vesna was the only person who survived that fall out of all 28 people? Well, there were actually a number of factors that people think helped. First of all, she was in the back of the plane with the food cart and everything, and that prevented her from getting sucked out of the plane mid-fall. Second, it fell on trees and snow that helped break the fall just a little bit. And third, most interesting factor is that Vesna actually had low blood pressure. And that apparently helped her heart not burst on impact. Interestingly enough, her low blood pressure actually almost disqualified her from being a flight attendant in the first place. Now, after her miraculous recovery, she eventually did go back to her work. But this time, she opted for a desk job instead. And get this, she actually got a title from Guinness World Record for surviving the longest fall without a parachute. Sure, Guinness, that's one way of putting it. And there you have it. That was the unbelievable survival story of one Vesna Vulovic. Apologies again for the name if I'm mispronouncing it. Now, I'm going to be making more of these things because this is some fascinating stuff. So, if you're interested, you can go ahead and subscribe, follow, whatever. Leave a comment if you want to give me like some constructive criticism. Hey, I'm looking to get better too. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.